Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. We've got a motto here on this channel that we carry across all of the content, and it's, I'm going to tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear, okay? And what you need to know is the Game Awards 2021 sucked. Flat out, what was this shit? I'm sorry, we're here in the bedroom, webcam video, I'm loosey-goose right now, so we got to talk about what transpired tonight. But before we do any of that, allow me to show you my best impression of the Game Awards. The Thrustmaster eSwap X Pro controller is my favorite go-to controller when it comes to the Xbox. I use it all the time when I'm playing Halo Infinite, but one thing I love that's not talked about enough is the customization. Now, I'm not really a cosmetic guy when it comes to my controller because I'm looking at, you guessed it, the screen. But I can't lie, matching up my controller with Halo and then saying I'm going to a single player game, so I'm going dark. And so I decide to remove the side plates, change those out. You can change out the analog sticks if you want. As I said before, the Thrustmaster eSwap X Pro controller is honestly the most customizable controller I've ever used. Not only that, but it improves my gameplay. Look, I'm not the best at first-person shooters anymore, but with these trigger stoppers on the back, with these extra buttons, which you can map the face buttons to, with a simple click of the button here on the bottom of the controller, what it allows you to do is say, press 1 and you can jump. Press 2 and you can crouch. So crouch strafing, jump shotting in Halo is super helpful. So if any of this interests you, there's a link right there in the description. Go Game Awards it up and check it out. This was a show that I think was ripe with potential. The reason for that is we're leaving behind a year that I think was relatively dry for games. There were still some spotlights here or there, but overall we were leaving behind a slow year, entering what I think is going to be one of the biggest years in video games. So many games waiting to release, next-gen only titles at that, and also ones that we don't even know about. And that last part was the exciting premise, is we knew some stuff we would get updates on, and we did get those, but the things that we didn't know about showed up in computer-generated trailers or not at all, and jammed between every single crevice that was remotely open in this showcase was ads, commercials galore, Nate Hill stream promotions. I'm sorry if I'm out of touch here, but who is Nate Hill? Who is Nate Hill? I mean, the mobile gaming stuff, the studio laugh and applause sound bites. This was not a good show, and I'm a pretty big supporter of the Game Awards. I recognize this is completely a marketing show, but I think sometimes they have the smoke and mirrors up enough for us to buy into the idea that this is a true awards show with some fun announcements in there. But this one, the pacing just wasn't there, because when you really look at the announcements, which we're going to talk about in this video, of course, I think they actually had some pretty good ones. We'll talk about them, of course. We're not going to go through every single one. It was almost a 4-hour show. Just the highlights here. I'm all about people securing their bag. I'm for that, but this was really in-your-face egregious, and their picks, they were trying to meld TV and movies and mobile gaming into this. It was everything that was an extension of gaming right now, and not about core gaming. And then Nate Hill. Who is this guy? Someone let me know. Anyway, enough complaining. I don't like to start off videos like that, but I know that's where everyone's head's at for the most part. I know there are people who liked it, and to those who did like it, shout out to you. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. I personally did it, so like I said, gotta tell you what you need to hear. But let's talk about video games, right? Because there were certainly a decent amount throughout here. We're going to go in order of as I wrote them down, as they were revealed, and some I added on at the end, just with some notes here. First one that was shown off in the pre-show that really caught my interest was Tunic. This is an indie title going out exclusively to Xbox. It's coming March next year. Xbox did an alright job, I'd say, filling out the early part of the year where it was pretty vacant for them in a competitive time where you have, say, Horizon Forbidden West, which looks amazing, launching pretty soon. So they come out with Tunic. This game looks awesome, very Zelda-inspired, and I could see this one being a pretty big hit. So this is a good one to re-reveal. I think during the pre-show was a good spot for it because I think there's enough separation there where those reveals stick with you. And it also set a good tone, I thought, for the show. There was also Planet of Cana and Off-Earth Odyssey. This one only had Xbox logos at the end of it, and it's interesting. Nice, solid 2D style game. I imagine it's going to open up more. Looked very different though. One of those ambiguous indie trailers that you look at and you go, okay, this is very artsy. And for me personally, I will pay more attention when I can actually see more of what the game plays like when I have the controller in my hands. But otherwise, it looked pretty cool. Kind of got Recore vibes from it. Last of the pre-show I wanted to highlight here, Xbox you gotta do something about this. This is a game you had to be in on. You had to be in on this one, and you weren't. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. It's on PS4, Switch, PC. This is a port of a fighting game that, by the way, Persona 4 Arena, the first one, is back compat on Xbox One and Series X. You could throw the disc in right now. And Ultimax, the excellent sequel, comes around, and it's not coming to Xbox. And what's interesting is this is a package that brings in the first Arena story, plus Ultimax, plus some new characters. Like, this is a game you gotta be there on day one for. There's no excuse. It's not a big investment of a brand new game coming to a new audience. We're talking Persona. We're talking a port of an old fighting game. Be there. Be there. This was disappointing to see on an Xbox front, but as a Persona fan, hell yeah. I love this game, and this is a great pick by Atlas. Why is that? Because Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is really expensive. I own the complete in-box copy. It's on my shelf right over there, and it's about $100, $90, $100. Pretty expensive. So for them to re-release it, it's a really good choice because not a lot of people have their hands on it, and it's a pretty rare game. It didn't sell that well. So shout out to Atlas. Great pick there. Then we get into the main show. Couple of reveals in, and we get a look at the one that really took people away in 2019, and they wondered where it went from there. And now we got gameplay. But a lot of people saw it and went, this ain't gameplay. That's right. We're talking Hellblade 2, game of the show. No release date. That's fine in my opinion. I just really wanted to lay my eyes on this one. I remember I got a lot of criticism for saying that Xbox's Naughty Dog could be found in Ninja Theory. And I get it because they have yet to prove what Naughty Dog has proven time in, time out. But these are clear masters of the craft. The transition between cinematics and gameplay for Hellblade 2 was nutty. Like, I actually was floored. I still can't believe it when I look at it. It's amazing. Would I have loved to see more true sword combat, say? More sword play, more intimate battles? You know, we hear that the animators for Hellblade 2, as well as the main actress for Senua, have done combat training for multiple years to prepare for their roles. I would have loved to see that on display, but this got a good picture on what level this game is on a technical basis. And honestly, on an immersive level, I don't think it's like anything we've seen before. I was really, really blown away by Hellblade 2. Yeah, I was interested in it. I love the first one, but I was a bit nervous with hearing that they're going to open things up more. But this game, you could even tell just by listening on the stream, the audio too, they've got that design back. This game looks special. And that's what you want to see from Xbox. So shout out to Hellblade 2. Then we get a pretty big surprise. So Star Wars game, Star Wars Eclipse. There was a leak a while ago about a open world Star Wars game coming around by Quantic Dream, and this is it. Interesting aspect though is this is a High Republic era game. And we just got a new series of novels for those. If you haven't been reading them, I've been reading a couple of them. They're pretty solid. It's an interesting part of the universe between the Old Republic and the prequel era. So it fits right in there in a golden time for Star Wars. And to see a game based in there, I think is going to be really great. You know, just to see it visualized. So I'm very big on this one. Obviously, with it being a cinematic trailer, just like any of them, I go see it when you got gameplay. But obviously on details alone, I was pretty happy with that. There was also Wonder Woman. This one was pretty short, but it comes from Monolith, who's responsible for the Middle-earth games, and it's a single-player game with the Nemesis system. I love me some Wonder Woman, read a ton of the comics. I also have those in the drawer right there behind me, and I am really interested in seeing how they can twist and turn this Nemesis system for a Wonder Woman game. A lot of potential there, but again, CG, so can't say I'm super hyped. Then we get another game that has been leaked a number of times, and honestly, it was only a matter of when, not if. That was Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to PC. I know a lot of Xbox fans are out there starving, and look, Xbox isn't feeding their JRPG fans the main course. They're giving them little appetizers instead. And what we're seeing here is no Persona, no Final Fantasy VII Remake, and so now we see Final Fantasy VII Remake make its way to PC. And so it'll be there on the Epic Game Store. So I don't know if everyone still hates that launcher, but that's the only place it was. And Epic had a really heavy presence at this, like tons of Fortnite ads. Tons of them. Tons of them. We also saw Somerville, brand new trailer there. The way Jeff talked about this one was strange because he said this person always wanted to show their game at the Game Awards, and they finally could make that dream come true. And the way it was spoken of was like it was a new game. When I saw it was Somerville, I was still interested because this is a game that'll be on Xbox Game Pass day one. But otherwise, I was like, okay, cool. I'm looking forward to this one too. But new trailer for that came around. One little note I made here was Kojima mentioning that he will be at the Game Awards next year before Del Toro's trailer played, and then he clearly teased a Silent Hill game. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Kojima pointed that out because we know Kojima's apparently signing and has signed a letter of intent to work with Xbox to make their own game. And when Kojima shows up, I think that's when we're going to see it. I know there was a lot of predictions. Maybe we see Kojima's game here this year because of the rumors. And then, you know, him and Jeff are good friends. It seems like next year you may want to keep your eyes out for that. So remember this moment because it seems like Kojima himself has said, hey, I'm going to be there. And he usually shows up when he's got something he's ready to show. Another game that looked fantastic. This was in my top 3 for sure. A Plague Tale Requiem. Oh my gosh. A true sequel in every sense. Graphically, gameplay, tension, music, budget. Everything looked like it had been upped in this entry here. For those who don't know, Plague Tale Innocence is already on Game Pass. A Plague Tale Requiem will be day 1 Game Pass, so this should be one if you're an Xbox or PC player you keep your eye on. A Plague Tale Innocence is one of the best directed games I've played. It does not waste a moment of your time. I would argue as the years go on, this is more of a must-play experience because there's nothing really quite like it. It's one that I just emphatically recommend people download and give a shot. It was a free game on PS Plus at one point. If you haven't played A Plague Tale Innocence, give it a shot because it'll increase your hype for Requiem, which again looks to be up in that game. It'll be their day 1 Game Pass, so Xbox fans eating good this show. Speaking of which, Crossfire X campaign. It's coming February 10th, 2022. So like I said, Xbox did a pretty good job filling out the early part of the calendar. This is one that a lot of us have been wondering, where did it even go? We knew an update would eventually drop. Here it is. So this comes as really not too much of a surprise. It looks all right. You know, I'm not crazy about it because it reminds me of Call of Duty campaign, but we're talking about a first-person shooter that was more on the level of Counter-Strike in its multiplayer space, and it's very popular there. So the idea that it's even getting a campaign is kind of crazy, let alone one that looks pretty solid. It's coming from Remedy Entertainment, and Remedy, responsible for Alan Wake, who they also announced Alan Wake 2. Wild stuff there, going to all platforms. So it's not Xbox exclusive like Alan Wake 1 was for a while on the 360, but yeah, it's coming from Remedy. They've been doing great work. A lot of people love Control. That's one I've slept on for a number of years now. But yeah, Crossfire X looks good. And this one, I gotta take a sip of water here because I gotta prepare myself for what's about to come out of my mouth. Okay, let's do this one. All right, so Sonic Frontiers. Not bad, Sonic. Not bad, you son of a bitch. What's happening to me? I used to not like Sonic, and this year I played Sonic Adventure, and I'm like, okay, I kind of get it now. And, wow. So this game is an open-world Sonic game that has some clear Breath of the Wild inspiration. There was a leak a while ago about what was called Sonic Frontiers, and they described it as like an open-world Sonic game where you'd go through certain portals and go into new boost levels. It sounds like something with a lot of potential that reinvents the formula. Only thing that worried me is the first snippet of gameplay for this trailer chugs in the frame rate. And I went, Sonic and tech issues have gone pretty well in the past, right? Sonic Colors Ultimate on Switch. Sonic 06 is infamous, even though I get it. That game has a little bit of charm there. But Sonic Frontiers, you know what? Not too bad. Good showing. Refreshing for sure. And new writers are in on that game, so as a newfound Sonic interested person, I'm not going to call myself a fan. I'm not going to give you guys that. Like what I saw there. We also had Halo's new TV show on Paramount Plus. That'll be streaming shortly. This is one of many TV shows and movie trailers that we saw, and I'm glad that they were connected to gaming, but there was too much of it. There's too much of it. I thought Halo was a solid fit. I thought the armor for Chief looked really good here. I thought Halsey also looked good. Otherwise, I didn't really pay major close attention. Y'all know me, not the best TV critic. I'll watch it when it comes around. We'll talk about it here. We'll talk about it on Defining Duke. We'll see what it's all about. But for now, I will just kick my feet up and wait until it arrives on Paramount Plus. This one was a real big shocker. I think one of the biggest shockers of the show. So there's this game on the 360 and PS3 called Warhammer 40k Space Marines. And it was I remember it was called kind of Gears of War inspired. And now it's getting a sequel all these years later from Saber Interactive, Focus Home Entertainment. It looks pretty damn good, I gotta say. And so I'm really looking into this one. And the fact that a sequel even exists is wild, but this was a big surprise. And I know a lot of Warhammer fans were happy to see this. Warhammer is really pouring it on hard here. And then the last game I wanted to talk about before we get into the finale of this show was Evil West. Another game that just showed really well. The fisticuffs were flying. Gunplay looked solid. The creature design was interesting. Evil West was a sleeper in that show. I think a lot of people were focused on other things, and this was one that was really early. And with all the other big things that were shown that I just talked about, it's easy to forget this one. So shout out to Evil West. This one looked great. But Jeff, man, you are 1 for 3 as far as I'm concerned in these last couple of years when it comes to decent showings to conclude your show. So in 2019, remember when we had the actor and actress, I forget their names, from Fast and Furious come out and they talked about Tekken fighting game and they show off Fast and Furious, this video game that looked like absolute shit. And then this year, we get a on-rails tech demo for Unreal Engine 5 for Matrix Awakening and promotion of Matrix Resurrections, which looks great, by the way. And don't get me wrong, compared to Fast and the Furious, at least Matrix looks good. But it's weird because I'm very convinced more than ever now that money is paid for these spots. Why is that? Because it's so obvious. It's so clear. This was not your show ender, and Jeff did it anyways. So my mindset is, if you knew that Elden Ring was clearly the big one, the big ender of the show, but how do you get these two specifically wrong, where you cap it off with these movie tie-in promotions? It's like, the bags are right here, baby. The bags are right here. Come get them, Jeffy. And hey, him and his team went for it. Again, no disrespect to anyone who collects their cash. I love the hustle, but make a better show, because the way this thing was structured out was not good. The way it was paced out was not good. It was ad overload. And I think the amount of unnecessary announcements and places of and trailers that could have been found in different places, again, like the TV ones, the movie ones. I think of the games that were cut. I think of the independent developers that may have been ignored, that maybe had something to show, but didn't have the opportunity to present it. And maybe there wasn't anything else on the table, so they had to fill out the show. But if you cut out, think of it this way. This was almost a 4-hour show. Cut out every ad, not everyone, but cut out a chunk of those ads that were going on for a while, and cut out some of these movie and TV show stuff. Think of how long this show ends up being. And then you don't even get into the name of the show, the Game Awards, which breezes by almost every award there. Remember when Forza won, I think it was Best Accessibility Options, which was cool to see. And they say, by the way, Forza also won Best Sports Game. Like, this show was horribly paced. It was not good. They need to work on their organization, because I'm sure that's half the battle. That's half the battle with these award shows and these reveals, is balancing it all. And I don't think it'll ever be perfect, but it can be better. It can be better. It has been better, in fact, I would say. But no BioShock, no Avowed. Oh, no Avowed. Maddie's big prediction. I've been big on Avowed being at the Game Awards. Where is it? Oh, this one hurts. But no Avowed. No Hogwarts Legacy. Hogleg, we call it here. No Breath of the Wild 2. No Redfall. I was surprised. I thought Xbox was going to go hard here, and they did in comparison to the rest of them. Like, Nintendo just didn't show up. Flat out. PlayStation did show up to some extent. We saw Horizon, and we saw them get exclusively on consoles. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt, that sack of you-know-what, that betrayal of a series there. But amongst all of the major platform holders, I think Xbox had the most significant reveals of the big three. But this was just a show that, man, kind of felt like I wasted my time in a lot of ways. I respect to the trailer crowd. If you're the trailer crowd, your team trailer, and you were like, hey, I waited, I'm catching up now, I enjoyed my night, Maddie, in your face, you can roast me, I don't care. This is my profession, right? We gotta sit through the good, we gotta sit through the bad. But anyway, that's all I had to say about the Game Awards, all of the reveals that were there, and yeah, not that great, honestly. So let me know what you're thinking about all of this in the comments down below. Really looking forward to the feedback on this one. thank you all so much for tuning into the live stream. Thank you to those who were on their best behavior, mind you. I really do appreciate that. And to the mods who really supported what was a pretty chaotic stream. I really do appreciate that. So big love to them because they really put in the work tonight. And again, immense appreciation to the positive community, the ones who show up and give a lot of love and support. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. I'll talk with all of you very shortly. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.